Hello, TECA1303. Welcome to your Module 2 explanation. We've just finished looking at Bomb Rhymes parenting styles. You've looked a little bit at family diversity with Chapter 3, and now we're going to expand on it. And so, who you are as an individual is based off your family of origin. The culture, the family culture, the beliefs they had, the way they raised you, the society you grew up in, all of that helps determine who you are. So when you grow up and you get married or you have relationships as adults, whether it's in your work or your personal life, those scripts that you've developed from your childhood, they play out. And so how do we add to that? How do we take the children that are in our classroom and make them feel included and that they belong and that they are represented and that those families feel like they can be part of your classroom and your community that you are creating? And so we've got our checklist, and then we have content material. So I'm in the process of making this class even better, finding more videos, making more videos, tightening up the assignment so it really looks at the SLOs and Standard 2. And so that's where I'm at with this course, and I'm really excited about the things that are being added. So we're going to be looking at chapters 2 and 7 from the textbook. There's going to be a discussion. You're going to have an assignment. And then down here, the key assessment, the major project is going to be due December 4th, but rather than wait till week 7 to see it, I want you to look at it in week 2, because you're really going to be exploring families and working with one particular family that has a child birth to 8. And so go ahead and read through that. Right now, there's not anything in the content material that should be all there by Monday. I want to make the video so that it's here for you Saturday morning, and then I'll be adding the content material for that. You have chapter 2 from the textbook. This one is going to be viewing family diversity, and so looking at different types of family structures and groupings, social aspects of it, socioeconomic status of it. And so it's other ways, other lenses to put on in order to view the family. Then when we look at chapter 7, we're going to be looking at the influences of the home. And so these may be family practices. I had a family, and so at home there was a lot of physical punishment. Both the mother and father had been arrested for domestic violence. In their house, the idea that you fought for everything that you had. You want that toy, then you get that toy. If you want the leftovers, then you've got to fight somebody for it. So it was this culture of fighting, aggression that was supported in this family. And so this child comes to school, and now I've got this child who has these scripts and these values, and they don't mesh well with the community of school. And now I have to realize that. Or if you've got someone who's coming from a foster care system, or if you've got, there's lots of different varieties in that. So these are going to be the influences from home. Then we're going to go into the discussion looking about family diversity. And so this one, I just found this one last week, and her video really made me stop and pause. And it has to do with children's literature and how children's literature, it's someone else's research, and I'll add that in our content material, that books are windows that help you see other family structures, other cultures. It should be a mirror, and it should be sliding doors. And so you can enter in and be fully engulfed in another culture. And so she talks about growing up and not seeing a classroom or children's literature that was representative of her and what she did about it. And so what you're going to do is I want you to think about a classroom. And first of all, think about you growing up. Do you think that you were represented in the classroom, whether it was posters on the walls, children's literature, other authors that you read, holidays that were celebrated? Do you feel like you were included? And then think about the classroom. And if you're in a classroom right now, think about your classroom, or think about the last classroom that you were in pre-COVID. And how would a minority parent, a single parent, a parent from another country, homeless parents, how might they react to the classroom that you have? What books are out there? When I go to the Reading and Writing Center, what's there? When I go to Pretend, what's there? How is different types of family diversity celebrated? And then for the media assignment, what you're going to do is you're going to watch 2 shows. They can be current shows, they can be classic shows. And depending on where I've gone in to tweak things. So like even American Housewife, there's Fresh Off the Boat. Just watch 2. And then what you're going to do is, first, you're going to write a summary, include characters, give me a brief synopsis of what happens. And then I want you to identify the family structure and culture. I mean, is it a blended family? Is it, so Fresh the Boat, they're Chinese, so that kind of thing. And then on Bomb Rhymes parenting styles that we talked about week 2. So do they have more authoritarian? Is it more authoritative? And then I want you to use Brofenbrenner's bioecological model and start with one of the children that's in there, and what is their microsystem and what is their mesosystem, and all the way up to their culture. And I even want you to think about the chronosystem. So for example, if you're watching The Cosby Show from the 80s, or if you're watching Modern Family, so for example, if I go back to I Love Lucy, I'm not going to see any homosexual couples in there. Whereas Modern Family, that is in the new millennia, there are. So I want you to think about those and the messages that are being sent. And then I want you to compare the programs, like what type of guidance was given based off the parenting types. What were, and some of this goes in here, what are the messages about marriage and the parent-child relationship? And then what messages, as you're sitting there with your small child watching these, what messages are being sent to them? You know, someone was talking to me about parenting on the Disney Channel, that the idea that parents aren't very observant, they don't pay attention a whole lot, you can get away with a lot of things. Like those would be messages that may be sent that we don't even realize are being sent. So anyway, 3 to 5 pages long in 7th edition APA formatting. And when you go back out to modules, here and start here, there's going to be an example of what it needs to look like. So message me with any questions, post on the discussion board, and I look forward to seeing your experiences.